Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this MDT software webinar organized by M.A.C Solutions. I'm Adeline. I am the marketing manager at M.A.C Solutions, and I'm happy to have Andy Thorogood with me today, who's our product manager for MDT. He's going to present this software today and explain you that AutoSave has you covered if you have made a change on your program that you wish you hadn't. We're going to go through a few housekeeping rules for this webinar. So you're all on listen-only mode during the whole webinar. If you have any questions, there is a question box within the interface of GoToWebinar where you can write your question down and we will address it near the end. The webinar is also recorded, meaning that you will be able to re-watch or send it to one of your colleagues once it's available. We'll make it available on YouTube and send it to you by email by the end of the week, I hope. And that's it for me. I leave you with Andy now.
Good morning, everybody. My name's Andy Thorogood. I've been with M.A.C Solutions since 1999, which is over a 20-year sentence now. In all of that time, I've been working with MDT Software of Atlanta. So it's a long time business for M.A.C Solutions. We've been in the change management business now over 20 years. MDT themselves, it's over 30 years. MDT started their business in the Detroit car industry, say 30 years ago, developed a system for Ford, Chrysler, which is Fiat Chrysler now, and General Motors, and they've still got long-term support contracts with those companies. So a 30-year working relationship must mean they're doing something right. You see on the screen at the moment is our web homepage for M.A.C Solutions, and you can see change management from MDT is not the only thing we do. Cybersecurity is a big thing, and change management is part of that. But our strapline connects secure analyze, so taking data from the shop floor, bringing it into the IoT world. We have our own alarm management software called Process View, which is developed in our office in Chesterfield. So anything else that interests you, please have a look on the website and then follow up after any meetings. Okay, increase your productivity and improve cybersecurity. Yeah, easy to make statements and straplines. A lot of those around at the moment, but I intend to show you actually how that makes sense. AutoSave Suite. On the left-hand side, you'll see AutoSave, which we're currently at version 7, actually 7.03. This is the original product from MDT. This is the thing that's been around for 30 years. Originally based on Unix, all the way now into the latest and greatest Microsoft Windows. This is where we manage your automation devices. This is the PLCs, the HMIs, the SCADA, the robots, the drives, the cameras, anything that's used in automation, we can manage that program. We have relationships with the PLC vendors to enable us to get inroads and hooks and links via APIs or other ways into their software to make it work smoothly for us. On the right-hand side, you'll see because we had a working relationship with Wonderware with their InTouch product, and when they developed their system platform, we developed with them a product called AutoSave for System Platform, A4SP. This enables very good integration into there, so it's real-time change management during development and also deployment. So you can see we're managing the multiple galaxies, all the different objects individually. We can compare backups and CAD files and report on everything. What I've said on this is everybody is not a Wonderware customer, everybody is not using A4SP. So if you want a little bit more detail, I'll unhide a couple of slides later on. But if you could write A4SP in the chat, and Adeline will tell me that, and I'll unhide them during the presentation. Okay. Increase your productivity. I'm a sales guy, I'm on the road. My productivity often is depending on my driving speed. It's simple. It's if I drive at 100k, and I left it in kilometers because 100 kilometers is sensible, 100 miles an hour isn't. 100k for 3 hours, I travel 300k. If I drive at 95 for 3 hours, I've lost 15k in my productivity. But if I stop for 20 minutes for a coffee, it has a severe impact on my productivity. So downtime and stoppage time in production is serious. And this means that you have to mitigate that. And one of the ways you can do it is for the change management system, so you know where your software is. It's easy for me to mitigate my driving because I just take a flask of coffee and I don't stop. But of course, at my age, 3 hours and drinking coffee, I probably need one of these in the car as well. Anyway, enough of that. What about your software assets? Whether it's a productivity issue, if you're in pharma, it's a compliance issue, it's a quality issue, you need to be able to answer these questions. Where is the latest copy of your code? Sounds a stupid question, but it does happen. Where is it? Who made the last change? You want an audit trail. You want to know who made it. You want to know what the change was. Why was it changed? Who authorized it? Is there a paper trail behind it? When was the server copy last compared against that device? Yeah, you've all got all the documentation. The server copy says it's correct, but actually the device copy could be different. And when did that extra block get added to the program? And that's got cybersecurity implications. And if you're not monitoring, then you could be potentially in trouble. So with software, the same as everything else in life, if you don't look after your tools, you don't know where they are, you'd never leave them in that state. So why would you manage your software in a similar way to those tools? Just have them in a folder on the server, labeled. I mean, how many people have a folder that says latest copy? It was the latest when you wrote that name, but 3 years later, is it still the latest? No. You need a system. You need to get organized, and AutoSave allows you to do that. So turn this into this. Organized tools, organized software. I'm going to obviously show you far more about the AutoSave client, but what it enables you to do is to be able to find quickly and easily the current copy of the software, all its versions, ancestors, branches, all the information about how that software has come to where it is, who changed it, why they changed it. Cybersecurity, improving cybersecurity. Lots of people write about cybersecurity currently. This is one of the 4 pillars of cybersecurity we found at the bottom, highlighted in red for you, backup and disaster recovery. As the description said, not my words, as no-brainer as it sounds. Yeah, if you haven't got the latest backup, you haven't got a disaster recovery plan. We've worked for your people who are in the utilities business, whether it be power, whether it be water, you're familiar with the government critical infrastructure and the NIS directive, and one of those is you have an up-to-date backup for disaster recovery with an audit trail. It's there. It sounds simple, but not everybody can do it. From the cybersecurity point of view, M.A.C Solutions, we have a suite of products again, and change management is a critical part of that. If you don't have the latest copy, you don't have a disaster recovery plan. So whether it be sheep dip, deep packet inspection, end-to-end encryption, we've got something that you may be interested in. One of the other features, interestingly, with AutoSave is we can capture and report on PLC firmware versions. So if you need to know what your inventory is for your automation devices on the shop floor, then AutoSave in the reports module can produce you that report and show you the firmware versions running in the field. So if you do get notified by the software and device vendor that there's a weakness somewhere, you can do that report and then update firmware. So we genuinely can say we can improve your cybersecurity. Okay, a little bit about architecture. I'm trying not to keep this presentation too technical. We can come back to that in separate presentations if you have an interest in the products. The server is based on Microsoft completely throughout, and the right-hand side is where we have integration with the system platform. The left-hand side is for our PLC and automation devices. And from version 7, we now have our dashboard portal. So we genuinely are in the IoT world. I'm going to come to the architecture in a little bit more detail now. Okay, so at this top level here, we have your AutoSave server. It's based on Microsoft, so the latest server operating systems and SQL as well, up to the latest. If you have a preference to keep SQL on a SQL farm in a cluster, fine. IIS is used for web reporting, and when you come onto the portal, you'll see we can do everything by HTTPS now, so we're secure on port 443. Network storage, you back up if you want to send emails, SMTP, and the usual firewalls into the area. When I started 20 years ago, engineers didn't talk to IT, so everything was down in the process area. Now, the real world, everything's connected. IT and engineers talk, sometimes reluctant, but they do. So this is a typical change workflow. Our trusty technician engineer logs in to his laptop and AutoSave. Now, this can be using our own password and username system, or you can use Active Directory or Active Directory with group control. Once you're logged in, up comes the AutoSave client. Choose the device you're interested in, if you're allowed to. Now, this particular PLC, for those of you who closely watch this, is a Rockwell PLC, and I'm going to download the program from the server because I'm allowed, and then launch Unity software. So this is the environment, whether it be Rockwell, whether it be Siemens, whether it be Schneider, whether it be Omron, whether it on and on and on. This doesn't change. So from your user point of view, your engineering technician, the hard bit is done. They're now in the environment they normally are. They make a change, we take over, ask them for a revision comment, and then send that new revision back to the server. The old revision, of course, doesn't get lost and becomes an ancestor. In terms of storage capacity, 20 years ago, we thought about it, now we don't. For our pharma customers, it's compliance, whether it be 8 or 10 years. For our automation customers, sometimes if something's 2 or 3 years old, you can send emails and notifications about anything in the system. Generally, too many emails are worse than none at all. The second part of the operation of AutoSave, one of the most critical, is the schedule compare. This is called scanning the PLCs, schedule compare, whatever your terminology is. Again, our target devices you'll see down there, but this is where our third AutoSave component comes in, called the agent. The agent has a copy of the vendor software. This means that when we communicate to the PLC or device, we're always using the native commission method. There's no reverse engineered drivers. This is using their code. So we send our copy of the software from the server after waking ill, ask the software to upload from the PLC, compare, and send the results back to the server. Send you an email, so in the morning, you can look at the report and say, oh, everything's the same or not the same. This particular report has got 31 PLCs in it, 27 had no differences, 4 had differences. So depending on the PLC type or device type, click on the hyperlink, and then if it's Schneider, we'll show you side-by-side comparison of the network. If it's Siemens, we can show you in statement list, or we can show you in ladder, or other block methods. Rockwell, use their compare tool, so you'll see excerpts of the compare tool there. If it's an HMI, happens to be now Aviva, Wonderware InTouch, we can show you that, including the graphics differences. So this is the bells and whistles on the change management. We're covering the change management requirements and audit trails, but it's nice to be able to get a report to show differences. Quick demo. Okay, just checking the time, so we're okay. I've just shelled out to my virtual machine running AutoSave software. Rather than go through the laborious login process of 2 seconds, I've had it waiting for you in good Blue Peter's edition. Step 7 PLC, you'll see the user is generally me, the last store date, the revision number, and the comment, modified OB1. Big buttons within AutoSave, so it makes it easy for engineers and technicians to go, okay, I want to go online to that device and find out why it's not working, why it's stopped. So it could be a monitor session. You'll see here, we've locked the PLC to me, so anybody else will know that Andy Thorogood's using it currently on this particular client. Anybody familiar with Siemens will know that this is a simple process. And I'm not the PLC programmer by trade, but I'm going to make a change on there, save it. Now out of there, we just wait for step 7 to close down its processes, and then we'll bring up a dialog to say, did you make any changes? Yes, I did. And I changed FB1. Okay. We have a third field for any ASCII characters. This could be something to do with your asset management system, work order code, anything at all, and that will go against the ancestor itself. So now you have a new version, the old version's down there, the comment, not particularly a good comment because it doesn't show you what the differences are. For your pharma customers, if you look at the activity log now, every step that I took during there is monitored by the activity log, and it's in there. So you'd see I started right down here, 10:15, everything is monitored. Even the internal monitor, when we do our schedule compares overnight, entries are made throughout this. So you have a good audit trail log there, and that audit trail log is compliant with the 21 CFR 11 requirements. So whether it be a Unity PLC, whether it be a portal, 7, Omron, Rockwell, we have it covered there. We also have a plugin which we call Universal, which allows you to be as simple as checking files in and out, but also attach a launch command, do compares for text files, etc. All covered in there. Lots of facilities within these plugins for things like data blocks, if you're in the Siemens world, or just data areas in other PLCs. Maybe you have an HMI connected to the PLC, and that HMI is making changes to temperatures, pressures, speeds, whatever, and actually you want to capture those changes. Well, we can monitor those particular data areas and ignore others. So, okay, that's my very short demo. If there's anything specific people want to look at, please put it in the chat box so we can look at those questions later. Let me come back to here. Adeline, any interest in a extra slide? You can place it in the chat box for me.
Yeah, give me 2 seconds. We have a few questions in. We have a few questions in, but we'll look at those after.
I'm going to just unhide these anyway because it doesn't take me too long to do those.
Go ahead. Okay. We'll go to a question later. There is a few already.
Okay, good. AutoSave add-ons. Quickly about those. We have a reports module. This allows you to go into real detail in mining the SQL database. So one of the reports I've already mentioned, you can bring out the complete firmware revisions for all your PLC assets. Others is, and again, it's useful again if you're into the detail of audit trails, you can go in and say, give me the audit trail between a certain date on a certain time, could be any time, could be 3 years ago, and look at the change log between those dates. Program event export module. This allows you to create a copy of all current versions in a folder system, which can be placed on any PC on any network. So as a absolute belt and braces backup, if the network goes down, if the world ends on a local workstation, you can have all the current copies. As I've mentioned, we are completely compliant with 21 CFR 11 part there, electronic signatures, and we have a workflow module built into there. Active Directory. Active Directory is covered out of the box with just a simple authentication done from the server on logging from the client. But we have an add-on module which allows you to reflect AD group level back to our system. The privileges and settings that people can and can't do are all stored in AutoSave. AD groups just decide who is in that group, and that group is back to AutoSave. Because I saw the list of people attending, I know that there are quite a few from the pharma industry, so I'll quickly put this other slide in. We can cover this at more detail if anybody is interested later. So the FDA features electronic signatures, of course, multiple review statuses. verification and confirmation processes, and we have integrated features into there. On the right-hand side, I quickly screenshotted one of the reports that I know has been used by our pharma customers. It allows them to selectively look at the activity, which is the audit trail. You can see that there. Okay. A4SP for our Wonderware users, just quickly, the GR node is the Galaxy repository. Our server is there. We put a small service on there, and when you make a change, immediately the change goes back to our server. And lots of people can use the software at the same time, of course. It is really real-time change management control, which means that when you develop a new revision, we keep all the copies in our repository rather than just a live copy. So, AutoSave M.A.C solutions. Redditch is our head office, and you'll see I'm down as sales and technical support as Junaid. Over on our European sales office in Paris, and you'll see Mickey Mouse there because it literally is 10 minutes around the corner from Disneyland. And if you're nice to Michelle, he might let you park the cart there and give you a free ride round. That's up to him. Okay, questions on there. Let me go back to this one. I want to cover the portal. For version 7, we introduced our dashboard portal. This gives us a view, an operating view, generally aimed at the more management level of what's happening in your change management system. It is HTTPS on port 443, so complies with all the relevant security settings and allows you to get information out that previously you could only drill into if you had the right permissions within the AutoSave client. So it gives you an overview of the compares we've done in the last 24 hours or so many days. You've got training on there, the last revisions that we created. Because it's a web page, you can embed it inside your SCADA. So have it in the control room. One of my big automotive customers has this on a big screen in their control room. And of course, web you can embed into our pages as well, which means you can have cameras, anything you like in there. Drill down so you can find out after your compares, 42% was showing difference, which is a big exaggeration. 34% are all the same, and then errors because areas may be switched off, how many uploads and downloads people have done manually. I would say generally, I just looked earlier at, because I've access to one of my major airport customers, 96% of the 1,234 PLCs they checked in the last 24 hours showed no differences. The errors were basically because the areas were down, switched off, and there's a lot of downtime in airports at the moment. So you have drilled down to find out exactly what is going on. In terms of a quick demo, I have a live feed into MDT's Demo software portal here. You'll see that the address there is on the website. So, okay, differences. I want to find out why my PLCs have got differences compared in the last 24 hours. I can drill down. Okay, just for instance, there, this particular program, drill down on there. I can find out obviously the summary, then the revisions. I can see who's been using it, what method, except all the comments on there. So it gives you control of how exactly it is happening on the shop floor, or of course across groups of factories, because one of the things that we're able to do with AutoSave, because it is an enterprise software, it is designed to be used with from 10 devices or even less up to tens of thousands of devices. Our biggest customer currently is an Australian water company with 34,000 under management. So we have no limit, no practical limit to the size of our operation. We have customers, and you can read it on our website, a Swedish customer called Sweat, who has a data center in Sweden and has a manufacturing facility in China, in Slovakia, in Germany, in Switzerland and the USA. all of which running off that data center in Sweden, with an agent in each one of the factories. So everybody is using a centralized system. One of the big automotive manufacturers who works in the US uses the same idea. So it's as big or as small. For anybody who has ever worked in an airport, high-level bag system is the scanners which look at the luggage which is going through to go in the hold, and that's where your potential nasties, for want of a better word, are. So whether it's checking for explosives or whatever, contraband. And from the customer's point of view, if that was checked in the last 24 hours, all of those 51 HPS PLCs, if it's not all green, they need to look at it seriously quickly. So that's a quick look. Same should apply, of course, to our customers in validated environments. If you find an unauthorized change outside of AutoSave, you should be looking at that. Simple boxes like when the last revision was created 2 hours ago by our admin user M.A.C. in America. So the portal is a very, very useful addition to the AutoSave suite. Okay. We are genuinely on the questions one there.
Okay, thank you, Andy, for this this presentation. So as I said earlier, we've got quite a few questions. I will address them to you, and then you can answer, I guess. So first one, do we have a list of automation vendor that is supported by MDT AutoSave?
We do. It's on the easiest one is on the MDT website, but we can send you a list if you drop an email to us. So this would be all the obviously PLC manufacturers, but drives, HMIs, etc., and some quite specialist ones in the automotive industry. You know, who make nut runners and weird and wonderfuls. But yes, is the answer.
Second question: how is the AutoSave started? Is it time-based or does it back up on any change?
The schedule compare is time-based. The schedule compare is, say, we would run, traditionally we ran it overnight because of network issues on slow systems 20 years ago, but it can be running 24/7. But generally we will set up a schedule compare and say, start at 1 o'clock, we've got 40 devices to do, you're probably going to be finished by 1:30 or whatever it might be. So it's time-based. In terms of capturing the software as it changes, this is part of the ASP suite, we do that. So for A4SP, the system platform, that is real time as you're in the development IDE client. But for AutoSave, it is a time scheduled compare.
Thank you, Andy. Next question. Would this capture change in data blocks if they were altered from, say, an HMI, or is it just program blocks?
Yes, it would. And if anybody looking at the time, we've got time to show you that. Just as an example, as I've got the Siemens one open there, you have a global decision to make. Do you look at data blocks? If the answer is yes, let me show you on this one. It's more interesting, actually. If I right click on that and say compare block exclude, so this is actually a multi-CPU project. If I just look at the blocks on there, you'll see I'm only looking at DB, those three. The rest of them are excluded. So if there's any change in these excluded blocks, I'll ignore them. Any change within these, then yes. Actually, for step 7, we put a special feature in for a pharma company whereby you could go into those blocks and actually only compare individual words. That's available for everybody, of course. So yes is the answer. If a particular PLC manufacturer's software doesn't allow us to do something very specific, sometimes we can and sometimes we can't. But for the bigger software vendors, yes, we can.
Great. Thank you for the demo as well. Next question. Under OG86, they are far more level than the two shown in your architecture. Can MDT server be connected at any level?
Yeah, in terms of the architecture where we're putting it, it's in, as I said, this architecture is a very simple representation of where we put it. I mean, we've got customers with so many different tiers of VLANs and areas that yes, we can put it where you like. In terms of connectivity, as long as our ports are open between the two, yes, we can do it. For the portal viewing, obviously we've taken on board the fact that people want to get things in a secure environment, hence it's using port 443 and 82TPS. If anybody has any specific questions on architecture, please send them separately with your idea of what your architecture is and how you would like to do it. And obviously we can be more specific.
Right, thank you. Does this cater for Siemens multi-project? Can you drill into the changes made for individual project within a multi-project, etc.?
Yeah, the thing you have to consider is, are we talking multi-CPU or multi-project? Multi-CPU is treated as one project with multiple CPUs, and multi-project is treated with a different plugin as a true multi-project. And the answer is yes, we just do it in a slightly different way. We have a different plugin for Siemens multi-project as a standard Siemens Step 7 project, which includes multi-CPU projects. Again, if you need me to put that in detail in the document or in a description in an email, just let us know. Send it to Adelaide or me directly, and I'll answer that question.
Okay. Next question. Do you need an agent on each site? Example, each geographical location, which is then connected to an enterprise architecture?
The answer is yes and no. It depends on the size. One of the extra little PowerPoints I can open in advance was the architecture I'm currently proposing to an enterprise customer. Now, whether depends on the number of devices down here. Okay. Now, if you think of a typical, this isn't a water company, but if you think of a water company has thousands, tens of thousands of assets in the field. Now, some of those are on large treatment works. Some have got 50 plus PLCs on the treatment works. We would advise that the agent is on site, because then you're only sending zipped up files across this one network. But if this is a small site, maybe with one RE, one routers on there, you only have HMI and a PLC, it's a small pumping station, and to have an agent is a considerable overhead and not necessary. So the agent could be back here. So the answer is both yes and no. It's not necessary, but for larger sites, it's advisable because of the nature of the amount of data you're transferring over time. And it comes down to the same question that you would always ask is, if you're happy sat here connecting to multiple PLCs, running the program software live, and this disconnects, is that going to be left in the safe mode? With the agent on there, it always is, because the software's still running. If it isn't, then that's a question we're thinking. Again, specific things we can talk about more about customers' applications. So sorry, the answer is yes or no, but it could be either.
Okay. Our next question is about the licensing. So what does the licensing model look like for this product?
The licensing model is all based on number of target devices. So if you have 100 PLCs or different varying types, that's all you pay for. So in other words, we have a package, say, that covers 4 advanced plugins and 100 devices. So you could have 25 Siemens, 25 Rockwell, 25 Schneider, 25 Omron, to put it in equal amounts there. Unlimited number of users, unlimited number of clients, and this includes admin clients. So it really is based on the number of target devices. It makes no sense for us anymore to try and charge people for different viewing clients. It's all based on the usage you're going to get out of it, which is how many devices you've got in management.
Last 4 questions.
Okay.
How does it work with safety systems?
With
safety systems. How does it work with safety systems?
Okay, depending, I mean, each PLC vendor has their own safety variant of their different PLC. For giving you an example of the ones I've been working with recently on the Siemens Tier Portal, Tier Portal has a special setting in it which allows you to do uploads on safety. We allow passwords to be put into our system. So in other words, if you're a password protected PLC, not necessarily a safety one, you can, I'm going to say, pass the password to the software to allow us to open and upload, do the compare. So in that way, we handle the safety ones. So they could be redundant as well, and depending on the manufacturer's configuration, the dual redundancy, how we manage comparing those. Again, it can be a very specific question that I'd need to answer on a very specific email. But yes, we're working in the field with multiple vendors, safety PLCs.
So if anyone has more questions about this, feel free to email us. Next one. In case of PLC program change, how to define if change is due to PLC modification or related to a human operation. And I've got in brackets parameter exchange from HMI example, for example.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much what we said before about how we decide on how we monitor the data areas. Most PLC data areas are used continuously within the program, and you're not interested whether there's a change. But if a SCADA package or an HMI is writing parameters to that PLC, whatever manufacturer, it's likely that unless we check those specifically, we're not going to find the difference. Give you a Siemens example. Within the Siemens programming package, if you change the data block, it changes the timestamp. If an HMI changes the data block, it doesn't change the timestamp. So it means that if you're only looking for timestamps, you ain't going to find that change. So what we do, if you say, we definitely want to monitor these data blocks which are being changed by the HMI or SCADA, we will open those data blocks and we will look for changes. We won't just rely on the timestamp. So the answer is, again, yes. If I've misunderstood that question, it's slightly different than the other ones. Again, please put it in more detail and we can answer that later.
Thank you, Andy. We've got, so we just got to come back. Thank you for this answer on the question you've just answered. So that's great. We've got another 3 questions that have popped up. So does AutoSave support the TIA portal v16? Is it used for programming systematic S7 PLCs?
Yeah, Tier Portal 16 was supported, I think, 3 weeks ago. Like all people in our position, when the software vendors are updating their software, we're a couple of weeks behind their release. 15.1 Tier and 16 is now supported. And yeah.
Great.
Simple answer.
Pardon?
Simple answer, that one, but I made it longer.
Yeah. It's fine. Next question, is AutoSave supporting Beckhoff TwinCat V2, V3? And again, what about TIA Portal different versions? So yeah.
Yeah. In terms of Beckhoff and similar to customers like Beckhoff and Vargo, is based on Code Assist, and we'd have to know the exact versions, but yes, we have a Code Assist plugin, and we can make that work specifically with the programming softwares from the different vendors who use Code Assist. I mean, you've got Beckhoff, Vargo, ABB, various other people.
Thank you. I'm just looking. There is more questions coming up. So Next one. Does AutoSave work in conjunction with image backup software for disaster recovery purposes? Example, Acronis.
Yes, we can. A few years ago, we actually had a specific plugin for Acronis, and very few people took us up on it. So now we use it with our ARMS general plugin, and ARMS allows us to add a few scripts, and that controls Acronis. And we can use the same, whether it be Ghost or whatever package you use. Again, a longer version of the answer, yes.
Okay, thank you. Next one, can you check out software and work offline?
Yep, and again, one I didn't mention was we have two ways of doing that. One of them is using our network client, more used in a single site factory type environment, where it uses the network client to check out single or several programs. And then we have developed a special module, again, aimed at our companies with distributed assets, utilities, water companies, power companies, etc. And I do have a separate little PowerPoint on that one for anybody who's interested. That allows us to bulk check out. Say a water company is going, the technician is going to go to a series of sites today, and he doesn't know whether he needs all the code. So he'll say, give me the code for all of those sites onto my local laptop, take it away, and if need be, he's made a change, he can synchronize it when he comes back to the office or connects via VPN into his office. So yes, we work with offline copies, checked in or checked out.
Great. I think this is our last question now, because nothing has popped up since it's been asked. So can this be used on a WAN, so wide net area network?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The PowerPoint that I showed on this one, the dotted red line is a WAN. And again, I'll point you to our website again. If you read the write-up regarding the Swedish company Sweat, that is a WAN-based system, multi-site system.
Okay, we actually have another question that just popped up. Thank you for your answer just before. So what is the support model you offer following implementation? Example, sound like you tailor whatever client wants to monitor, etc. How is this captured in any support framework, etc.? Or is this something that can be done direct by the user?
Yeah, if we're talking about support, without asking Adeline to read it whole back to me, in terms of the way we manage support, because we've been doing this 20 years now, we're first and second level of support for MDT. We generally only ask them questions when it's something that is out of the ordinary. Well, you know, the tech support answer, I've never seen that before. That's the time that. But in terms of training and support for our end user customers and our system integrators, we'll offer them a complete training program, because what we want is to minimize support calls, because it makes no sense. So we would like somebody on site who we can train to be able to add devices and manage the system. So in terms of the support contract, there's an annual support contract, which is X percentage of the software, and that's divided into two. That gives you support, as the word says, from ourselves, support from MDT. We've two offices based on have support people, as you saw from our model, but it also gives you updates. Back to the question, do you support TIA Portal version 16? Yes, that's what your support's paying for, us to integrate all the new features by the software vendors into our software. Again,
okay.
If that doesn't answer the question, email me the one that I can then come back and we can have a dialogue.
Right. I think that's it. We've had a few more people asking for the list of supported PLC device, so we will we'll send it by email.
Yeah, I'll make a nice list for you and send it to Natalie and can distribute it.
Yeah. So we will we'll do that. So in the next few days, I would say. That's not
okay.
Yeah.
I might even insert it into the PowerPoint, yeah, next time.
Pardon?
I might put it in the PowerPoint next time.
Yeah.
Carry on, Adeline, sorry.
No, it's okay. I think we're done. No other question have come up in the last 5 minutes. So this seemed to be the end.
Well, just summing up from my point of view, anybody who's just stimulating some interest and wants a more in-depth presentation with some more technical side of it, please let us know and we can arrange the same specifically targeted at your application. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thank you. If you go back to your presentation, Andy, quickly, so people have our email address and website if they want to access. There we go. Thank you. So thank you everybody for watching the webinar. Again, it will be available within a few days online to rewatch or to share with your colleagues if needed. We'll send you a link, and in the meantime, if you need to contact us, please feel free to send an email at sales@macsolutions.co.uk. Give us a ring on 01527 529 774. That's in the UK, so don't forget the +44 at the beginning. And otherwise, you can go on our website, mac-solutions.net, for more information if you want to have a look there as well. Thank you for watching. Bye now. Thanks, Andy.
Cheers. Bye-bye.